So finally, we're going to talk about indoor air pollution. There's lots of different kinds of indoor air pollution. So you can track pollutants from the soles of your shoes from being outside. There's all kinds of residues that can get into the air. So not only is it like physically on your floor, etc., also can come up into the air, which is why I personally do have a no shoes house. But there are all kinds of residues, pesticides, and then right there are oil and gas you walk through in parking lots. It's on the bottom of your shoes, and then you track it inside. Living organisms, um, mouse excrement is actually really bad for you. It can cause some pretty serious health issues. Dust mites, mold, and mildew obviously are very bad for your health. They can definitely cause asthma, right there, respiratory irritant. Tobacco smoke, obviously. Formaldehyde is actually in lots of building materials, so in carpets and all that kind of stuff. We've kind of stepped away from that, and in more developed countries, like here in the U.S., but in developed countries, formaldehyde is still really in high concentrations in their building materials. Radon, a lot of times people might have a radon remediation system in their homes where they're ventilating their basements. Radon is really it's part of the decay series of uranium, which is in bedrock. So there's nothing that you can necessarily do about it except for remediate the radon in your house. But it is kind of a natural source, except for the fact that you built your house where there's lots of uranium. And then fine and ultrafine particles, so just really dust and stuff like that. And so in developing countries, indoor air pollution is a much larger issue than here in developed countries. Not to say that we are not developed, I'm sorry, we don't have our own issues, but in developing countries, people are still using wood burning stoves to cook their food and sanitize their water. Um, so mostly wood, but people also burn charcoal, dung, and then not to mention that these fires are in very poorly or unventilated stoves. So they're inside in the kitchen and people are cooking over them. And all of this leads to a lot of particulate matter. And so, in order to reduce air pollution in developing countries, you can use more ventilated stoves that will burn the same materials and then ventilate them well. Or a big thing is solar ovens, which actually we have one and we can make cookies of our own in these solar ovens. They get really hot, so you can actually cook like a chicken in there. So they're pretty impressive when made well. So that's not cooking inside, and it's not burning wood inside, and so therefore, obviously, it would reduce air pollution. In developed countries, right, we've already banned smoking in most areas. Um, there are standards for formaldehyde levels in materials, and then we can also use less harmful cleaning products. I would really recommend going into your book and really going over indoor air pollution and what the main sources are um, from your book. So make sure that you do that. And thus concludes our air pollution PowerPoint.